hope that you guys are well, that you're having a great day. So I'm Megan. I'm going to bring to you today the word of the day for the Estuary Elim Church group. I hope that this will encourage you, that this will bless you, and that actually it will give you a little bit of something to think about. So I've named it Cultivation in the Quiet. So we're going to have a little look at Joseph and his period of cultivation in the quiet. So many of you may know Joseph lived a mundane life, and then he had some incredible dreams from God, one of them of which the sun, the moon and 11 stars were bowing down to him. So he naturally told his brothers, but his brothers did not take kindly to this, and they sold him into slavery, and he ended up in Egypt. Not long after, he actually ended up in prison as well, and although God was with him, God brought him to this place where he was going to cultivate the gifts that he had given him. Cultivation in the quiet. So naturally the prison is going to be very quiet, but God brought a couple of other people when Joseph was in the prison. So he brought a cupbearer and he brought a baker. So when he was there, God had given the cupbearer and the baker dreams. And this gave Joseph the opportunity to learn and to grow in his gifting. And actually not long after, he would end up using this gifting to interpret Pharaoh's dreams and go higher in the world and ultimately glorify God through what he was doing. And Another amazing thing is that actually God is working through that time, but God can work through our mundane times too. I know that, you can think, I'm just going to work, I'm just doing the normal mundane day. I may not be doing any more than what I'm normally doing. But actually it's in this time that God is going to teach us. He is going to give us opportunities to grow and to speak to other people and build us up. And a bit like Joseph, we are going to have an opportunity where God is going to call us for such a time as this, like in Esther. Another person that had an amazing cultivation in the quiet is David. David was a shepherd boy. God was just teaching him in his time, how to be a king without knowing that he is going to be a king. When he's shepherding the flock, that actually one day he would shepherd God's people. But another amazing thing is actually when he was going to have this big encounter with the Philistine Goliath, okay? And this is the most miraculous thing I have ever heard, okay? So when David ultimately killed Goliath, he used a sling and a stone. He used no sword or anything like that at all, but he was using things that he would have used when he was in that quiet time, when he was living that mundane life. So it says actually that David, in saying to Saul, said, "Your servant used to keep the sheep for his father. And when there came a lion or a bear and took a lamb from the flock, I went after him and struck him and delivered it out of his mouth. And if he rose after me, I caught him by his beard, I struck him and killed him. Your servant has struck down both lions and bears, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be like one of them, for he has defiled the armies of the living God." So that's in 1 Samuel 17:34 to 36. So David's not afraid. David's not afraid because God has already been teaching him to deal with what he would say is big enemies. Okay, so in our period of time, God is teaching us. And not only that, if we think about, Peter and Andrew, they were fishermen, but God would make them fishers of men. Jesus would call them to be fishers of men. And I'm pretty sure that they had no idea that God was going to call them out into something so miraculous. So I just want to encourage you guys that even in the mundane, even in the normal day-to-day, God is teaching you, okay? He is teaching you for such a time as this. And He will give you the most amazing opportunity to use the gifts that He has given you. But something that both Joseph and David had was obedience to where they were, obedience to God in what they were doing, even in the normal. So I just encourage you guys that God has a plan for your life, and the plan of good. I mean, Romans 8 verse 28 says, and we know that for those who love God, all things will work together for good, for those who are called according to His purpose. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, however normal your life seems, God's got plans of good, and He has a purpose for your life. So I hope that you guys just have the best day, and that in this time of quietness, that you will allow God to just cultivate and help you to steward the gifts that He has given you. Thank you so much, and God bless.